Hey guys, I'm Messi from our weekly, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hellfire High Council in Heroic Hellfire Citadel. These tactics also apply to the normal version. This encounter has 3 different bosses, but their health is not linked. When one reaches 30%, it will gain a new ability, and this will continue being cast even after they die. First off is Blade Master Jubaithos. He will use Fellblade, with which he will throw his sword in the direction of the arrow that shows up when he casts it. Simply move out of that direction to avoid any damage from that ability. His second ability is Fellstorm, which is a simple AoE that you can do nothing about except heal back up. His third ability is Windwalk, with which he will summon a lot of mirror images, which will each do one of the Blade Master's abilities. These images can and should be killed off. The damage you do to these images will also transfer to the Blade Master himself. At 30% health he will gain Wicked Strike. With this he will start dealing damage to half of the group. The damage of this will ramp up over time. Once the Blade Master is dead, he will keep using Wicked Strike. The second boss is Gurtog Blood Boil, and his first ability is Blood Boil. With this he will deal damage to the 5 furthest players away from him. This means that if you are low on health, you might want to move a bit closer to Blood Boil so that you don't die. The second ability he has is Acidic Wound, which is a stacking dot on the tank. This will also reduce their armor by 100 per stack. The debuff itself won't last 30 seconds, and due to the last boss you can't really tank swap. So instead, to get rid of this, you'll want to use the next ability to your advantage. The next ability is Fell Rage. With this he will target a random player and increases that player's defenses. He will then focus on that player for 25 seconds. The player should tank him. However, every successful melee hit that the Gurtog does will also increase his attack speed by 10%. This means that as you get to the later part of the 25 seconds, you'll want to use defensive cooldown to survive. Hand of Protection can serve particularly well. Because this fixate only lasts 25 seconds instead of 30, there will be 5 seconds left that you need to create so that the acidic wound is removed from the tank. When Fell Rage is getting to the 18-second mark, you will want the fixated player to move far away from both tanks, so that when Fell Rage ends, Gurtog will have to move back to the tank. In that time, the debuff should fade away from him. Gurtog's final ability is Demolishing Leap. With this he will jump around, and the further away you are from the point of impact, the less damage it will do to you. At 30%, Gurtog will start casting Tainted Blood, which will reduce the maximum health of everyone by 10% per stack. After Gurtog dies, the debuff will remain. The final boss is Dia Dark Whisper. She has an aura called Void Haze, which will make the other 2 bosses immune to damage if they are within 25 yards of Dark Whisper. This is why you'll have 1 tank on Dark Whisper and 1 tank on both the Blade Master and Gurtog. Dark Whisper will mostly cast a Void Bolt on the tank, dealing a chunk of shadow damage. She can also turn into a Visage of Nightmares, and while she's in this form she will deal a ton of damage to the tank, and the tank will need to be focused on when it comes to healing. Now, Dark Whisper's real threat to the raid is Mark of the Necromancer. This is a debuff that will ramp up in damage over time. When you dispel it, and you will, the debuff will spread to 2 new players, but the damage will reset. The process of dispelling will repeat itself, and you'll want to prevent too many players from getting the debuff. Dark Whisper will eventually cast Reap, at which point a permanent void zone will spawn underneath each player with the debuff, and the debuff will disappear. So when Reap is cast and you have the debuff on you, you'll want to move to the sides of the room quickly so that the void zones aren't in the middle of the room. And then Dark Whisper's last ability is Wailing Horror. Shadow elementals will spawn around the room and deal shadow damage when they fly over you. You will want to try and dodge these, but the damage is healable. At 30%, Dark Whisper will put Mark of the Necromancer on half of the raid and no longer cast Reap. This means that your healers will be dispelling a lot to reset the debuff, as Dark Whisper will no longer remove it for you. Because of the 30% mark changes being permanent for the rest of the encounter, you'll want to get all of the bosses to around 40% health. At that point, you will first want to kill off Blood Boil, then the Blade Master, and finally Dark Whisper. When Blood Boil reaches 30%, be sure to use Heroism so that your maximum health doesn't get any lower than it needs to go. And that's pretty much the entire encounter. So, in this encounter you'll want to kill the mirror images, stay away from arrows, deal with the acidic wound, keep away from the places Blood Boil jumps to, focus heal the tank when Dark Whisper is a terror, move to the sides of the room if you have the Mark of the Necromancer and Reap is being cast, and finally, keep Dark Whisper away from the 2 bosses. In execution it's quite simple because it doesn't all happen at once. If you liked this raiding guide, please comment, subscribe and click on the like button to help us out. If you would like to keep up with when new videos come out, but you don't have a YouTube account, You can also follow us on Twitter or Facebook at twitter.com/bbmezzy or facebook.com/wowweekly. Also, be sure to check out our written content on our website wowweekly.net. For now, I'm Mezzy, and I'll see you again next time.